Wait, 40p? And it's playing like this? You've got to be kidding me. Ah, yes. The Dell Dimension 3000. My childhood PC. Today is very special because this computer turns 20 years old. And that has me curious. Could you theoretically use a 20-year-old computer on the modern web? I mean, most people usually get a new computer every 5, 6, or 7 years. I can only imagine how it would be if you bought a brand new computer 20 years ago and was still using it. Because this thing is ancient technology-wise. It's got a single core processor, 2 gigs of DDR memory, and an IDE hard drive. It was a modest computer back in its day, but 20 years later, is that still the case? So for today's experiment, we're going to find out just how good or how bad it is to use a 20-year-old computer in the modern age. This computer originally ran Windows XP, which is pretty much useless on the web nowadays, considering that it's been discontinued since like 2014. We can't put Windows 7 or Windows 10 or hell, even Windows 11 on this, so not even going to try that. So that leaves us with one option. We could put Linux on it. However, even that's going to be tricky because this computer only supports 32-bit operating systems. And apparently there aren't a whole lot of Linux distros out there that still have a 32-bit version. I wonder why. But surprisingly, there are some out there that still support 32-bit. And one of those options is Q4OS. This is a Linux distro. I want to say it's based on Debian, and it is one of the few Linux distros that are still supported in a 32-bit version. So we'll be installing that on this thing and see if it works. We'll use this 250 gig hard drive that I had lying around. We will also need a SATA to IDE adapter since this computer does not support SATA. So let's get everything hooked up and install Q4OS. All right, so now we need to get into the BIOS and change the boot priority. All right, we want the IDE CD-ROM to be the primary boot device, and then the hard drive second. And then put in our CD. All right, so we want to do classic install, select English, United States, American English, and then detecting hardware. Create our user account. We're just going to call it Dell Dimension, and then our password, Central Time. And then for partitioning, we're going to use guided use entire disk. And there's our 250 gig hard drive. Warning, this will destroy all data. Well, yeah, because there's nothing on the drive. This part might actually take the longest. Because yes, it is a SATA drive, but with that IDE adapter, it heavily limits the actual speeds of that hard drive. This may actually be the slowest installation that I've ever done. Ooh, we're almost done. It's felt like an eternity. Oh, except there's more. Great. Jeez, that CD drive is going crazy. Can you hear that? $720 files? Jeez. And we're only at like 160. I will never take the speed of modern computers for granted ever again. Especially after experiencing this. Also completely unrelated, I started replaying some Quantum Break recently. I forgot how good this game is. Highly recommend it. Oh, please tell me that we're finally on the home stretch. I'm tired of this. It's about time. Let's reboot this. Q4OS Desktop 5.5. Congratulations! Setup has finished. Yes, thank you for putting me through that. What's my prize? Oh, it has a startup sound too. I just didn't have the speakers turned up. I don't know if you could hear that or not. So here we are, Q4OS. And it looks really similar to Windows, which I actually kind of like. First things first, we need to get this thing connected to a network. Now, I don't have wired Ethernet in this room, and this computer also doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi, but I do have a USB Wi-Fi adapter that we can use. That is, if I can remember where I put it. Okay, sweet. Networks are being detected, so let's get connected here. What? An error occurred? But we have Wi-Fi though, and I got it connected. We might have to try something different. Well, I guess it's time for plan B. I got an Ethernet cord. We're going to connect the Dell to my laptop and do a shared wireless connection. And hopefully that should work. Things are not really going according to plan right now. But then again, do they ever on this channel? What we want to do is select this option right here, set a private connection, and we'll do Ethernet. And then we should hopefully be sharing our connection from the laptop to the Dell Dimension. All right, do we have internet now? Okay, it's thinking. Okay, sweet. Looks like we're connected. All right, so now that we have networking, I'm going to install some applications to test out on this. I am noticing right off the bat, desktop is surprisingly responsive. So I can safely say Q4OS is really good on resources. RAM is looking pretty good. We're only using about 230 megabytes out of our 2 gigs. Our CPU is getting slammed though, but that's mainly because I'm installing stuff in the background. But even with that, it's still really responsive. Okay, so we got mostly everything installed, and I have a list of tasks that I want to accomplish in this video. So first, we are going to try Office applications and see how that does. Then we'll do internet applications like searching the web, using YouTube, social media, downloading, that sort of thing. We'll try out some games as well. And then just for shits and giggles at the end, we'll try video editing, which I am imagining is not going to go very well, but we're going to do it anyway. So first, let's open up one of our Office applications. How about we start with word processing, which should be able to handle it no problem. All right, let's choose a font. That one will do. Call this Q4OS on old computer. Highlight that. We'll do bold, underline, italicized, why not? This is an essay about word processing on a 20+ year old computer. Yeah, pretty much handles it perfectly fine. There's no lag with any of the typing. Yeah, you could most definitely do word processing on this. All right, next let's try Excel. Yeah, just like word processing, handles it like a dream. Next, let's do a presentation. As you can see, doing presentations also works. I have noticed that the user interface can lag here and there, but for the most part, it's perfectly usable. If this is literally all you had to make your corporate presentations, I'd say you'd be able to make it work. It wouldn't be perfect, but all the core functions work just fine. Next, we are going to try database editing, which is something that I have always not really liked doing. I have no idea what I'm doing, but yeah, there's no lag when typing, so I'm just going to take that as working fine. I am noticing it does lag when you're drawing objects as well as moving them around, but other than that, it's fully functional. I'd say you'd be able to make it work in a pinch. So running Office applications was a success. I figured it would be. I mean, hell, you could probably do word processing and Excel spreadsheets on a freaking potato if you really had to. Let's move on to something a little more complicated, like internet applications. Now, I have a feeling this is going to be a little difficult to do considering that we're running a single core processor and only 2 gigs of memory. So we'll see how this goes. For starters, let's open up Chromium as well as Firefox and see how much RAM each of them uses. Okay, so Chromium just doing nothing is using like 3/4 of our RAM. Oh no, Firefox is using even more. This may be a problem. Well, at least Chromium is using less resources, so let's just go with that one. First, I want to see how long it takes to start up. So we'll open it now. It was about 7 seconds, give or take. How about let's see how long it takes to get to Google. Hey, that's pretty good. All right, let's search for Dell Dimension. Doesn't take too long to load up results. Scrolling is a bit laggy, but of course I expected that. Let's go to Wikipedia and see how that loads. Yeah, that works pretty good. So, simpler websites like Wikipedia works. How about let's try YouTube? I can only imagine how this is going to go. All right, let's search for my channel. Oh, it's struggling now.
One thing I've noticed about football fans is they all talk.
Oh no. This is already struggling. So, needless to say, Full HD is a no-go. Just, the hardware just cannot handle it. But the audio is perfectly fine. I bought another computer to take a look at. One more. Wait, 40p? And it's playing like this?
That is not
You've got to be kidding me.
easily placed.
How about let's try 1080p just for shits and giggles? Oh no, it's taken a long time to load. Yeah, I don't think 1080p or 720p is going to work at all. Let's drop it. Oh, whoops. Let's drop it all the way down to 144p. We might be hitting our RAM limit with YouTube.
Right there. There we go. Okay.
It's still a bit choppy at 144p. Seriously? Yeah, I think we are definitely limited by the GPU and our RAM. I feel like if we had a graphics card in this, video playback may be a little bit better, but yeah, that's bad. That's pretty much unusable. All right, let's try some social media. Let's try Reddit first. Oh, thanks, Chromium. Tell me something I don't know. Sure, let's try that. I don't think it's going to make a difference, though. I mean, it's not terrible. At least it's loading stuff up, especially the images. Although I doubt we're going to be able to play any videos, considering how YouTube went. Blue Sky is pretty much the same story. It does load up the posts and the images, but it does take its sweet-ass time. And I'm sure, just like Reddit and YouTube, video playback is going to be damn near impossible. So I would highly suggest not using a 20-year-old computer for social media, unless you want to torture yourself. Okay, lastly, let's try downloading something. See how that works. Okay, it's downloading. Of course, we're probably limited just by our internet speeds at this point, because, you know, downloading something isn't really resource heavy. That works at least. So, internet usage was kind of a mixed bag. Let's see if it fares better with gaming. I've got a few installed here. Let's try the simplest, like 2048. Okay, that works great. Yeah, it's pretty much 2048. Not really resource heavy at all. How about some Super Tux? Oh, geez, that scared me. Oh, geez. It's so slow to load. Come on, even that netbook that we did video editing on could run this game. And this can't? Yeah, this is awful. I can't do this. And that was only 2D games. Let's try some 3D ones. Yep, pretty much same thing here. Atrocious frame rate. Let's try adjusting some graphics settings. So we want everything down to its absolute lowest. I don't think that's affecting our frame rate at all. We turned everything down to the lowest settings, and yet it still runs like crap. This may actually be the worst game of pool I have ever played. Wow, this is bad. Alright, let's turn graphic settings all the way down for Tux Racer. I highly doubt this is gonna affect anything. And, yeah. Already off to a great start. It's like a slideshow even on the menu. Yeah, I'm not gonna wait for this to load one frame at a time. This is bad. Nope, no thank you. Alright, last game we're gonna try is Open Arena. I don't know how this one's gonna work. I'm hoping this one's gonna be better considering it's based off of a game from 1999, which I would think that this hardware would be able to play. Although we're already not off to a good start. That menu is super laggy. Of course. Why am I not surprised? Even at the lowest settings, it's unplayable. Ugh. You've got to be kidding me. Well, we gave it a fair chance. Unless you want to play solitaire, gaming is a no-go. It's so bad that if I had a choice between gaming on the netbook that we did video editing on and this, I would go with the netbook. And that was a terrible fucking computer. Alright, we're saving the best for last. Or the worst for last, depending on how you see it. Can we do video editing of any kind on this? To be honest, I don't have any high hopes considering what we've seen so far. But we're going to try to give this thing the best chance that we can. So I'm not even going to attempt any HD resolutions. I'm going to record some footage, downsample it to 480p, and fingers crossed that it works. MP4 format. And then, is there a standard definition selection on here? There should be. DVD NTSC 720 by 480. Close enough. All right. Oh, it's going a little faster than I expected. It's still taking an awfully long time considering that this clip is only like 23 seconds long. Oh, we're done. Sweet. Ooh. Yeah. Uh, it can't even play back 480p. Oh my lord. I don't even know what to say. We gave it the best shot that we could. And yet, it still failed to do that. This may actually be the worst machine I have ever done video editing on. Like, probably worse than a Raspberry Pi 3. And definitely worse than that netbook. So, to answer the question, can you use a 20 plus year old computer in the modern age? If you're like just using it to search on Google or basic word processing, yeah, I guess. But anything else besides that, I would definitely not recommend it. If there's anybody out there that's using a computer this old, I am so sorry. You deserve better. Now, I doubt that there's very many people that are using a computer this old, but hey, I just found it fun to push old technology to its absolute limits. There's a reason why this Dell Dimension 3000 is my childhood PC and it stays that way. It was pretty hard to use even back when it was brand new. So I'm just going to leave this here. I hope you enjoyed our dumb experiment, and I'll see you next time.